In my business, I see a lot of stuff come through the door. Gold, silver, historical artifacts, you name it. Every so often, someone brings in a coin collection. They think they've got something truly special. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Now, when you think of coins with diamonds, you might think of some fancy European monarchy or a special issue from the United States. You probably wouldn't think of New Zealand. Most people know New Zealand for its beautiful landscapes, the haka, and maybe some sheep. But diamond coins? That sounds like a long shot. The truth is, the story of New Zealand's diamond coins is a fascinating one, but not for the reasons you might think. It's a story full of twists and turns, and it tells you a lot about the history of the country itself. The importance of this topic isn't about a long, unbroken history of diamond-studded currency. It's actually the opposite. For most of its history, New Zealand never made a single coin with a diamond in it. Not one. So why are we talking about it? Because the absence of these coins tells a story. It tells you about a practical frontier nation that was more concerned with function than with flash. It shows how their currency evolved from British pounds to their own national dollars. And it makes the recent arrival of diamond coins on the scene even more significant. Understanding this history is key for any collector, especially my American friends who might not know the backstory. It's all about knowing what you're looking for. And sometimes, what you're looking for is a story that's just beginning. When you're dealing in collectibles, context is everything. A coin isn't just a piece of metal, it's a piece of history you can hold in your hand. So, when we dive into the history of New Zealand's diamond coins, we're really taking a journey through the country's economic and cultural past. We're going to look at the early days, the big changes, and what led to the coins that collectors are chasing today. It's a detective story in a way. We're piecing together clues from different eras to understand the full picture. Why did they wait so long to create such a coin? What makes the modern ones so special? These are the questions that make a collection valuable, not just in terms of money, but in terms of knowledge. So stick with me. We're going to break it all down step by step. We'll start at the very beginning, when coins first started circulating in New Zealand, and work our way up to the present day. I'll give you the dates, the designs, and the stories behind them. I'll tell you what's real, what's a myth, and what you should be looking for if you want to add one of these unique pieces to your own collection. This isn't just a simple list of coins. This is a deep dive into a niche part of numismatics that a lot of people overlook. And in my world, overlooking the details is where you lose out. Let's get started. Every great story needs a good myth, and the world of coin collecting is full of them. People come into my shop all the time with tales of a super rare coin their grandpa found. Most of the time, it's just a story. When it comes to New Zealand diamond coins, the biggest myth is that they even existed in the early days. There are whispers and rumours you might hear online or at a swap meet about a 19th century colonial coin with a tiny diamond chip. Someone might claim it was a special presentation piece for a governor or a visiting royal. Let me tell you right now, I've been in this business a long time, and I've never seen one. Not a single credible expert or historical record has ever proven its existence. It's a numismatic ghost. The reason this myth is so persistent is because it's a romantic idea. Imagine a rugged pioneer society, fresh off the boat from Britain, minting a special coin with a precious gem. It sounds like something out of a movie. But the reality of colonial New Zealand was much different. They weren't focused on luxury. They were focused on survival and building a new nation from the ground up. Their currency needs were practical. They needed coins for everyday trade, to buy supplies, and to pay workers. Putting a diamond on a coin would have been an incredible waste of resources and completely out of character for the time. It just didn't happen. So where did these stories come from? My guess is they started with wishful thinking. Collectors loved the idea of a first. The first car, the first comic book, the first coin of its kind. A 19th century New Zealand diamond coin would be a grail item. But more likely, these tales are a mix-up with other types of historical items. Perhaps there was a piece of jewellery, like a locket or a medal, that was made from a coin and had a diamond added later by a jeweller. Over time, the story gets twisted, and suddenly it becomes a tale of an officially minted diamond coin. It's a classic example of how legends are born in the collecting world. It's important to bust this myth right from the start. If you're an American collector looking to get into New Zealand coins, you need to know what's real and what's not. Don't waste your time or money chasing a phantom. The real story of New Zealand's currency is interesting enough without any made-up tales. There are no early diamond coins from the 1800s. The history of their coinage is one of practicality, moving from British money to their own distinct currency. The sparkle of diamonds would come much, much later. Knowing this saves you from a wild goose chase and lets you focus on the real, verifiable history. And that's where the true value is. Let's talk about the colonial era, which for New Zealand really kicked off in the 1840s. When British settlers arrived, they didn't bring a big stash of New Zealand coins with them because they didn't exist. The economy ran on a hodgepodge of whatever was available. The official currency was the British pound, so you'd see British sovereigns, shillings, and pence. But there was a massive shortage of coins. To make up for it, people used whatever they could get their hands on. This included coins from other countries like France, the Netherlands, and even the United States. It was a messy, unregulated system. The focus was purely on having something, anything, to use for trade. In this environment, the idea of minting a special coin with a diamond is just plain silly. Think about it. If you can't even get enough basic copper pennies to give people change, you're not going to be thinking about luxury collectibles. The priority for the colonial government was establishing a stable and reliable money supply. This led to the first attempt at a local currency, but it wasn't a fancy government project. Instead, local businesses and tradesmen started issuing their own private tokens, usually made of copper. These are known as trade tokens, and they were prominent from the 1850s to the 1880s. They were stamped with the business owner's name and were basically an IOU for goods or services. These trade tokens are fascinating pieces of history. They tell you about the businesses that built the colony. You'll see tokens from drapers, grocers, and hardware merchants. For example, a well-known issuer was a man named Milner and Thompson, who ran a music store in Christchurch. Their tokens are quite common, but look at the designs. They are simple, functional, and cheap to produce. They feature the business name, the town, and maybe a simple image like a wheat sheaf or a coat of arms. There are no portraits of kings or queens, and certainly no precious stones. These were tools of commerce, nothing more. They were made to be used and abused in daily transactions, not admired in a display case. So, to be crystal clear, during the entire colonial period, from the 1840s right up until New Zealand became a dominion in 1907, no official or unofficial diamond coins were ever produced in or for New Zealand. The focus was on solving a currency crisis, first with foreign coins, then with private trade tokens, and finally by importing more British imperial coins. The story of 19th century New Zealand numismatics is about a struggle for stability, not a display of wealth. Any sparkle you might find from this era would be on a lady's brooch or a gentleman's ring, not on the money used to buy bread and butter. The search for a diamond coin in this period is a dead end. In 1907, New Zealand's status changed. It went from being a colony to a dominion within the British Empire. This was a big step, It meant more self-governance and a stronger sense of national identity. You might think this would be the perfect time to create a truly unique national currency, maybe something with a bit of flash. But that's not what happened. Even as a dominion, New Zealand continued to use British coins as its official currency. The pounds, shillings, and pence circulating in Wellington were the exact same coins you'd find in London. It was practical, it was easy, and it reinforced the country's ties to the empire. There was no political or economic will to change things just yet. This period, from 1907 until the 1930s, was a time of significant growth for New Zealand. But it was also marked by major world events, like the First World War and the Great Depression. These events put a huge strain on the global economy. During the war, the focus was on the war effort, not on designing new coins. Then, in the late 1920s and early 1930s, the Great Depression hit hard. The value of silver skyrocketed, which created a big problem. The silver in the British coins became worth more than their face value. People started hoarding them and melting them down. This caused another massive coin shortage in New Zealand, forcing the government to finally act. This crisis was the catalyst for New Zealand's first official national coinage. In 1933, the government introduced its own set of coins. But here's the key point. They were designed to be almost identical to the British coins they were replacing. They had the same sizes, weights, and denominations: threepence, sixpence, shilling, florin, and half-crown. The front, or obverse, of the coins featured the portrait of the British monarch, King George V. The back, or reverse, was where New Zealand got to show a little bit of local flavour. Designs included a kiwi bird, a Maori carving known as the hei tiki, and the national coat of arms. These designs were beautiful and meaningful, but they were still very traditional. So, let's look at the specs for these first coins. They were made of silver, or a silver alloy, and later, cupro-nickel, after the Second World War. The designs were elegant, but restrained. There was absolutely no consideration given to adding something as extravagant as a diamond. The country was just pulling itself out of the Great Depression. The goal was to create a functional, affordable, and trustworthy currency that the public would accept. Adding a diamond would have been seen as incredibly frivolous and out of touch with the economic realities of the day. The new coins were a symbol of national pride, but it was a practical, down-to-earth pride, not a flashy one. The age of diamond coins was still a long way off. The next major chapter in New Zealand's currency story came on July 10, 1967. This was Decimal Currency Day. New Zealand finally ditched the old, complicated British system of pounds, shillings, and pence. In its place, they introduced the modern system of dollars and cents we know today. £1 became $2, 10 shillings became $1, and so on. This was a massive undertaking, honestly. The government had to educate the entire population on how to use the new money. They even created a cartoon character named Mr. Dollar to help explain the change. It was a huge step towards modernizing the country's economy and further establishing its own unique identity, separate from Britain. When the new decimal coins were introduced, they really were a fresh start. The designs were all new, celebrating New Zealand's unique flora and fauna. The 1 cent coin had a fern, the 2 cent had a cowhide flower, the 5 cent had a tuatara, the 10 cent had a kiwi, the 20 cent had a kiwi as well, just a different depiction. And the 50 cent coin featured Captain Cook's ship, the Endeavour. These designs, by the way, were created by a British artist named James Berry, and they became iconic symbols of the nation. The coins were made of bronze and cupro-nickel, durable, inexpensive metals suitable for mass circulation. They were designed for the pockets and cash registers of everyday New Zealanders. Now, you can probably guess where this is going. In a nationwide move focused on practicality and a smooth transition for the public, Was there any room for luxury? Absolutely not. The 1967 decimal currency launch was all about function. The government minted hundreds of millions of these new coins to make sure there were enough for everyone on day one. The last thing on anyone's mind was creating a special collector's edition with a diamond. The very idea would have been contrary to the entire spirit of the project, which was about creating a democratic and accessible currency for all. The new coins were a success because they were simple, logical, and easy to use. For collectors, the 1967 set is a cornerstone of any New Zealand collection. But it's important to understand what it represents. It represents a break from the colonial past and the embrace of a modern, independent identity. It's a story of progress and national pride. However, it is not a story of numismatic luxury. From 1967 through the 1970s, 1980s, and even into the 1990s, the coins that New Zealanders used every day remained these simple, effective designs. The 1 and 2 cent coins were eventually phased out in 1990, but the core system remained. The idea of embedding a gemstone in a coin was still something that just wasn't on the radar for the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. Starting in the 1970s, New Zealand, like many countries, began to get into the commemorative coin game. These are special coins issued to mark a specific event, anniversary, or theme. They aren't meant for everyday circulation. Instead, they're aimed squarely at the collector's market. This is where you start to see countries experiment with different designs, precious metals like silver and gold, and special packaging. For New Zealand, this was a new way to celebrate its history and culture. You'd think this would be the perfect opportunity to finally introduce a diamond coin. But for decades, it still didn't happen. The early commemorative coins from New Zealand were quite conservative. For example, in 1974, they issued a $1 coin to celebrate the British Commonwealth Games, which were held in Christchurch. It was a big, chunky cupro nickel coin featuring the game's logo. They also issued a silver-proof version for collectors. Over the years, they released coins for royal visits, national anniversaries like the 150th anniversary of the Treaty of Waitangi in 1990, and conservation themes. These coins were often beautifully designed and struck in high-quality proof finishes, but they stuck to the basics: silver and occasionally gold. Let's look at the materials and themes. The metals were traditional. The themes were always related to New Zealand's history, its relationship with the British monarchy, or its natural environment. For instance, there were popular series featuring native birds and famous explorers. These were aimed at a traditional collector base that valued classic design and precious metal content. The idea of adding a non-traditional element, like a diamond, was probably seen as too gimmicky or modern for the time. The New Zealand Post, which handled the marketing of these coins, knew their audience. They were selling history and heritage, not flashy novelties. This trend continued right through the end of the 20th century. Even as other mints around the world started experimenting with new technologies like colorization, holograms, and gemstone inserts, New Zealand's commemorative coin program remained relatively traditional. They produced high-quality, beautiful coins, but they stayed within the established boundaries of classic numismatics. So, if you're a collector looking at coins from the 1970s, 80s, or 90s, you'll find plenty of interesting silver and gold pieces, but you will not find a single one with a diamond. The search continues, and it takes us right into the 21st century. The world of coin collecting changed dramatically around the turn of the millennium. The internet created a global marketplace, and mints everywhere had to compete for the attention of a new generation of collectors. Traditional designs were no longer enough. People wanted innovation, novelty, and, well, something truly special. Mints started pushing the boundaries with new shapes, high-relief striking, and special inserts. This is the era where the story of New Zealand's diamond coins finally, after more than 150 years of history, actually begins. The long wait was almost over, but it took a shift in the entire global market to make it happen. New Zealand, through its official minting partners, began to embrace these new trends. They saw that there was a demand for premium, high-end collectibles that went beyond just a simple gold or silver coin. Collectors, especially in growing markets like Asia and North America, were willing to pay a premium for coins that were not just money, but pieces of art. These collectors were looking for low mintage numbers, unique features, and innovative designs. The idea of embedding a real diamond into a coin suddenly went from being a frivolous fantasy to a smart marketing move. It was a way to create a luxury product that would stand out in a crowded international market. This new strategy was not about creating currency for the people of New Zealand to spend at the grocery store. These modern collectibles are what we call non-circulating legal tender, or NCLT. This means they have a face value, let's say $1, and are officially recognised as currency by the government, but they are not intended for circulation. Their actual value comes from their precious metal content, their rarity, and their unique design features. The face value is mostly symbolic. This distinction is crucial for understanding why a diamond could now be added. It wasn't being added to money for the masses, but to a limited edition work of art for a niche audience. So, the stage was set. New Zealand had a history of beautiful, traditional coinage. The global market was demanding innovation, and the mechanism of non-circulating legal tender provided the perfect vehicle. The question was no longer if New Zealand would issue a diamond coin, but when and what it would be. The country's rich culture, unique wildlife, and stunning landscapes provided a wealth of potential themes. The first New Zealand diamond coin would need to be something special, a design that was worthy of being the first in the nation's history. The long, empty history was about to get its first entry. The historic moment finally arrived in 2017. After a long history of practical, unadorned currency, New Zealand issued its very first coin to feature a genuine diamond. This wasn't a subtle thing, it was the centerpiece of the design. The coin was created to celebrate the 65th wedding anniversary of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. This was a fitting theme, as the Queen was still New Zealand's head of state, and diamonds are the traditional gift for a 60th or 65th anniversary. The coin was a clear signal that New Zealand was now competing in the top tier of the modern collector coin market. It was a bold and beautiful statement piece. Let's get into the details, because that's where the value is. The coin was the 2017 Queen Elizabeth II 65th wedding anniversary 1-ounce silver-proof coin. It was struck from 1 full ounce of 0.999 fine silver. The diameter was 40 millimeters, a standard size for modern silver dollars. The reverse design was intricate, featuring a depiction of the Queen's diamond and platinum bracelet, which was a wedding gift from Prince Philip. Nestled within this elegant design was a single, genuine 0.03 carat brilliant cut diamond. The mintage was extremely limited. Only 750 coins were produced for the entire world. This rarity is a huge factor in its collectability. It was minted by a private mint on behalf of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. This coin was a game changer. It was aimed at a global audience of high-end collectors and royal family enthusiasts. The use of a real diamond combined with the low mintage and the popular theme made it an instant hit. For American collectors who might have been unfamiliar with New Zealand's numismatic history, this coin was an eye-opener. It showed that the country was producing world-class collectibles that could stand alongside those from more famous mints. It wasn't just a piece of silver, It was a carefully crafted piece of jewelry and history combined. The coin came in a premium presentation case with a numbered certificate of authenticity, adding to its appeal. Since that first issue in 2017, New Zealand has continued to release other ultra-low mintage coins featuring diamonds, often for themes related to the monarchy or other significant anniversaries. For example, subsequent coins celebrating milestones in the Queen's reign also incorporated small diamonds into their designs. Each of these releases follows the same formula: precious metal, usually silver or gold, a very limited mintage, an elegant design, and one or more genuine diamonds as a key feature. These are not coins you'll ever find in your chain. They are luxury items, the pinnacle of modern New Zealand numismatics, and they represent the complete transformation of the country's approach to collector coins. So, we've gone on a long journey. We started with a myth about colonial-era diamond coins and found nothing. We went through the Dominion and decimal periods and found practical, functional currency, but no sparkle. And now, we've arrived in the modern era, where New Zealand is producing stunning, limited-edition diamond coins for the global market. The question is, why does this matter to a collector, especially one in the United States? It matters because the story gives the coins their value. Knowing that New Zealand went for over 150 years without a diamond coin makes the first one from 2017 incredibly significant. It's not just another coin, it's a historical turning point. The appeal of these modern New Zealand diamond coins is multifaceted, pardon the pun. First, there's the rarity. These coins are produced in extremely small numbers, sometimes only a few hundred for the entire world. In the world of collectibles, scarcity drives demand. When you have a coin with a mintage of only 750, you know you have something special that not many other people can own. Second, there's the innovation. The combination of pure silver or gold with a genuine diamond creates a unique and attractive product. It appeals to both coin collectors and people who appreciate jewelry and luxury goods. It's a crossover collectible. For American collectors, these coins offer a chance to diversify their portfolios. Many collectors in the United States focus heavily on American coins like Morgan dollars or American eagles. Branching out into high-end international coins like these New Zealand issues can be a smart move. They represent a different part of the market and have a unique story to tell. Furthermore, because they are issued in English and often feature themes related to the British monarchy, a subject many Americans find fascinating, they are very accessible. You don't need to be an expert in New Zealand history to appreciate the beauty and significance of a coin celebrating a royal anniversary. In the end, the history of New Zealand's diamond coins is a perfect lesson in collecting. It teaches you to do your homework, to separate myth from fact, and to understand the context behind what you're buying. The value isn't just in the diamond or the silver, it's in the knowledge that you own it first, a piece that marks a fundamental shift in a nation's numismatic story. From a country that once used makeshift tokens to a producer of world-class luxury collectibles, New Zealand's coin history is remarkable. And for any serious collector, owning a piece of that history is what it's all about. That's something you can take to the bank.